Dinsdale from Therapy. I am thinking of doing this on a semi-regular basis, a little rise and shine type situation deal where you guys can get ready with me in the morning. I think it's just a fun way to connect with everybody and yeah, just do a little casual talk about some therapeutic things. This channel is all about sharing little tips and tricks that I use in a therapy session. As I am a therapist in Canada, qualifying at the moment, but we're almost there. I think we've met all our hours. We just need some supervision hours now. That's how it works in Canada. You have specific rules and regulations in order to keep your license, basically. Hello, how are you doing? How are things with you? Thank you for joining. Yes, the therapist from Canada. What do you do? Tell me a little bit. Let me see. Adweeman. Adweeman. Is that how you pronounce your name? Adweeman. If you could write down the pronunciation, I'd love to say it properly. I think it's really important to say people's names properly. I like to take the time to figure out how to say it. But I will say I'm very forgetful, so if I forget how to pronounce it, please don't take it personally. I have a little goldfish brain, especially in the morning. Hi, Colin. How are you doing? I am a software engineer in India. That's exciting. How do you like it? Software engineering sounds very interesting. As in Superman. Adweeman as in Superman. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Colin, what have you been up to? Do I know you personally? I feel like your name is very familiar to me. I think I might. Maybe not. Maybe it's a different Colin Hill. I know. Yeah, I need better memory for sure. Well, this live, I'm going to be doing my makeup, getting ready in the morning. If you guys want to get ready in the morning too, um, Adweeman, I feel like you're probably um, not in the morning. Is it afternoon over there where you are? What time is it? I'm curious. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, maybe that's why your name's familiar, Colin. I've just seen it before. I like it, but you have to use a lot of efforts in this profession. Oh, I'm sure. Okay. If there's another Sea Hill, he's on my hit list. Oh no, don't come for him. He's nice. Uh, 6:42 p.m. Okay, nice. It's almost like exactly opposite then. Yeah. Hi, Ozark. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys. So today, with my little therapeutic, since I'm a therapist and getting ready in the morning, I wanted to talk about famous people. Okay, so we're going to be talking all about what it would be like to be famous. And what I do on this channel too is I like to use our imaginations to kind of put ourselves in the shoes of other people. So perhaps like imagine your favorite celebrity and you can drop their names in the comments so we can kind of like visualize what it would be like. And recently I've kind of discovered this group called Cat's Eye. Let me know, anybody in the comments, if you know who they are. They're kind of like this girl group. Most of them are like in their early 20s. And I would just imagine like what would that be like to be famous at such like a young age, you know? Hi Benny. Hi Randall. Good to see everybody here. Okay, Katy Perry, a great example. Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah. Leonardo was famous at a very young age too, right? And like, especially in these formative years, I find there's such a variation of how these kids, when they grow up into adults, like how they handle fame, right? And what the difference is between successful people who grow up to be well kind of adjusted and have those coping skills to deal with fame. And then there's other children actors who kind of take a different turn, right? Because it's a lot to handle, as you can imagine. It really affects your self identity, right? Because the public have this idea of who you are as a person, right? And especially as a kid, they have, especially at a really, really young age, they have trouble figuring out what the difference is between, make believe and reality. So that's why I find it personally pretty controversial about these kids doing these movies, especially when they're like really scary movies or adult themed movies. I personally think it shouldn't be allowed for kids, or if it is, like, it has to be very, very regulated in order to protect the kids. And right now, I think there could be a lot better regulations for people who are child actors. Yeah, Drew Barrymore is a great example. Oh, are you gonna be a celebrity, Adwaman? That would be awesome. Yeah, if you star in any movies, let us know. I'll definitely pitch it to the audience and say, everybody tune into his movies. 20. Hi, Zach. Yeah, so, anyways, when I imagine being a celebrity, I feel pretty anxious because most people would know who you are, right? And that is, I feel like, would affect you. I think it would affect most people in a negative way, right? Because, like, anonymity, just being able to walk down the streets, and nobody knows who you are, is kind of a blessing in disguise. I feel like we take that for granted because we're used to that. But just imagine everybody knows who you are. And I watched Trevor Noah. He was talking about his experience being famous. I saw a little clip of it, and he was saying the great thing about anonymity is that you're able to start your story over with every new person that you meet, which I thought was really interesting, right? If you decide to change as a person and you meet somebody new, you're able to just say, hey, like, this is who I am now. You don't have to try to explain or have that previous history behind you. And that's so true, right? Like, I feel like I've changed so much in the past 10 years, even, that if somebody kind of knew all my history and everything, it would be kind of sad, right? Like, you have to carry that with you, I guess, for the rest of your life. Whereas me, I could just kind of start over, right? I could move to a different city and just live my life. But these famous celebrities, they make one mistake, that's on their record forever. Oh, are you a local celebrity, Colin? Tell me more about that. How are you a local celebrity? Hi, Rusty. Hi, IX. It's been a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you around. It's great to hear from you. How are you doing? Hi, Scummeray. I hope I. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad at pronouncing names. I'm trying. I really am trying, guys. So yeah, as a therapist, I haven't worked with too many celebrities. I've, yeah, obviously I can't talk about that much because they're my clients, and confidentiality is the word for it. So basically, something that therapists can teach celebrities is about something called the ego state theory. So basically, that is about kind of understanding the different parts of your identity, right? So there is this identity of your celebrity persona almost, right? Hi, hello from India. Hi from Canada to India, then. Nice to see you here. You have a theater group, uh, Manobov? That's exciting. I love theater, by the way. I'm a big theater buff. I love Hamilton, Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so basically what we teach people is that you have to understand your celebrity identity versus your actual identity. Who are you as a person when you're home and just chilling? Like, what are your values? What are your dreams as a person outside of your career, right? If we think about it, this is a way to kind of relate to these famous people. Like, imagine if your work was your only identity. The person who you are at work just is carried with you wherever you go. Typically, people act a little bit differently with like each friend group, right? You might be more confident and bold with your friends, more reserved with your family. At work, you put on a bit of a professional persona, right? If you can kind of really understand the differences between who you are at each thing, like each different place that you go to or each social group, then you're able to kind of understand, firstly, why you do it, right? And also who you are as a core individual. Like, you might be shifting the way that you behave in these groups, but as long as you are solid with who you are as a person underneath all that, that's the important thing. Hi, someone. Oh, hypnosis question. Where did hypnosis originate? Just curious. Okay. I know that some of the earliest mentions of hypnosis was back in Egyptian times. It's been a while since I studied that, but I do believe it had something to do with dreams and dream states. So they would kind of analyze dreams. I would definitely look that up. But I do believe the first mention of hypnosis is back in Egyptian times, like ancient Egypt, kind of Pharaoh era. Uh, Hi, Tedward. Love the name. A core individual. You are, huh? IX, you're doing really well these days. You've changed lifestyles pretty dramatically. When you first talked to me, you used your real name. Yeah, I recognize the profile picture. I noticed that you changed your name. You're looking well, amazing, in fact. Oh, thank you. I hope you're doing well too. So I hope the lifestyle change is dramatic in a positive way. I really do. Yeah, but going back to kind of like the celebrity topic and everything, tell me what you think, guys. How would you deal with fame? Do you think you'd enjoy it or not so much, and why? I'd love to hear from you. I personally think I wouldn't enjoy being like the uber famous, like Leonardo DiCaprio and Katy Perry, but like just a little following is okay. You'd Keanu Reeves it? Yeah, that guy is amazing, isn't he? He just got married, I think. It could be, I don't know, with all this AI stuff, you never know what's real, but the rumor has it he's married now. Is there any link between hypnotic state and deep sleep state? Yeah, there is actually. It's pretty similar when it comes to brain waves. So people study brain waves with these little devices, and I'm sure you've heard of it all, like the theta, beta waves, all that fun stuff. And hypnosis is very similar to sleep. It's most similar to daydreaming. Actually, if you imagine a daydream, a very deep, deep daydream, that's what hypnosis is like. Yeah, Adawan, Adwiman, you would enjoy it until the point your family is not involved. Yeah, that's true. If your family starts to get harassed or anything, like, that's no good. I think it's crazy that people are so interested in celebrities' families. People get really into the celebrities, don't they? It's like, hi Lorraine, how are you doing? Where are you listening from or watching from? Yeah, just be yourself and drive motorcycles. There you go. Not so much into the fame, huh? Hi, Jojin. I'm from Canada. I'm near Toronto. Yeah, I'm a therapist from Toronto. We love it here. It's bizarrely warm. I don't know how it is with you guys, but we're having a very, very hot summer, and it's like almost 27 degrees today, and it's October, which is very bizarre. Oh, thanks, Jojen. Where are you watching from? How would you explain consciousness? Oh my gosh, that's a deep question. I'm watching from LA, just taking a break from math homework. Very cool. Oh my gosh, math was a struggle for me. Let me tell you. Are you really good at math or is it hard for you, Lorraine? That's my question for you. In school, I think math was my least favorite. I loved like gym and I was definitely a musical theater nerd. Oh, very good, Jojen. That's really awesome. There seems to be a few people from India, which is exciting. Hi, Wayne. How are you doing? I'll send you a heart back. Heart. IX. You don't get into celebrity culture because you feel like life is too finite to spend time being obsessed or infatuated with people who aren't directly as part of your life. That's a good way of seeing it. Yeah. That's interesting, right? It's like the why. Why are people so interested in celebrities? You don't really think about that. I like that you've decided that it's not your thing because of that, right? It doesn't match your values, which means you have a really good understanding of yourself. Yes. I think I recently got into like not the big celebrities, but I like 90 Day Fiancé stuff. But I think it's less about kind of them being celebrities and more about understanding their stories. Because, like, as a couples therapist and stuff, I do couples and individual, but I kind of find their stories so interesting. And I know most of them are just, fake. TLC likes to make up these stories, and the cast has said so, but I kind of use the opportunity to analyze, like, if they were in a session, how would I help them, right? It's almost like a little challenge for me, because especially they make it, the couple so outrageous that, you have to really think it through, like, what would be the best strategy to help these people? Committed? What do you mean committed, Jojen? We don't need millions of people's attention, just 4 to 5 are just enough. Yeah, exactly. It's about like, do you want to have a big friend group of people who don't really know you or a small friend group who does, right? And it is possible, I think, to have like a really big friend group who understands you at a deep level. But for the most part, I hear most people have more of like a core friend group, right? I'm impressed with people who have like massive friend groups and can maintain them. I feel like my time is so limited. I try my best, but yeah, it is what it is. You're getting better the more you practice the math. I'm almost in calculus. I hear it is tedious. Oh, yeah, calculus. Nice, nice. No, it is well done you for studying. It's hard to do. It's worth it though. Trust me, it is worth it. You get to learn a lot. And math, it does come in handy. I won't lie, it does. There's a lot of parts of like my statistic courses that I did in university I don't really use, but there's definitely some applications, especially when it comes to what do they call it again? Research method statistics was really helpful. That's kind of the practice of understanding research, like the evidence-based research that they do, like case studies and everything. I learned a lot about how to read those properly, which is really important when you are a therapist trying to figure out, oh, does this new technique work? Let me look at the research that people have done, right? And in order to understand that, there's like a few main components that are important, which would be the sample size, how many people were in this study, You also have to look at, what do you call it? Anything that could affect the causation, right? So if somebody's doing a study, let's use Pavlov, for example. Pavlov is the guy who did the study about ringing a bell and feeding his dogs. So he would ring the bell and feed the dogs every time, to the point where if he rung the bell, the dogs would start drooling all over the place because they knew what the bell meant. So that was the causation. Like the bell sound when you feed them food causes this, right? But maybe there is something else affecting this, right? So, for example, perhaps it's dinner time. Maybe he was doing it at the same time every time. So, as soon as he comes through the door, it's dinner time. He's been at work and he's back. Doesn't matter if the bell rings because he's walked through the door, they start salivating, it's dinner time. So, that is something you got to keep an eye out for in these studies, is to make sure, okay, this is actually caused by this technique. Oh, do I have a boyfriend? Yeah, I'm married. I am. Is marriage anniversary asset or liability? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I don't know. Math is hard. I feel like either you get it or you don't, you know? Do you guys like to look at those psychology studies or not so much? Maybe I'm just kind of a bit of a psychology nerd, but I like to check every now and then. There's some good magazines like Psychology Today and stuff who kind of make it more, what do you call it, like edible, you know? Sometimes those big articles where it's like the whole conclusion and methods, hypothesis, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of overwhelming. So Psychology Today like breaks it up. So it's like more of a story as opposed to like a big research paper. Oh, Jojen. Hi, Gabor. Yeah, next year I will come to Canada for studies. That's exciting. Canada is great. Whereabouts are you going? Which school? Or if you don't want to say which school, maybe which province? That would be good. If you are in Ontario, make sure to try the maple syrup in your coffee. That's my favorite thing. I just had that this morning. It's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Oh, I liked your examples. My cat runs to the kitchen every time I go to the kitchen. He must be conditioned to think I'm gonna feed him every single time I need to go in the kitchen. Yup. He definitely is, I think. He likes statistics because it was very different from other maths because of how the questions and information is presented in words. Yeah, I agree. I like that too. I think statistics was the easiest one for me. Calculus was the hardest. I wish I had taken physics though. I feel like that's the one thing, like I do enjoy sciences and stuff. I really like biology, aviation course. Are you gonna be a pilot? Jojo, are you gonna be a pilot? That's awesome. I hope that's what it means. I don't know. If you're gonna be a pilot, that is very cool. Oh, Shuba. Shuba. Gosh, I really need to get better at naming people. Shuba, how did I start my business? So, I started my business back in the day. I was a hypnotist first. I was bored one day and I was looking at courses on the University of Toronto website, and I found a course for clinical hypnosis, and I got super excited. I was like, that's amazing, let's do it. So, yeah, I did. I basically just signed up and I took the course, and I had such a grand old time that I decided to do it at first just part time, and then I got an office and I was doing that full time, which was a lot of fun. But then I just decided, I want to expand my. Oh, thanks for the donation, Gabor. I really appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. I really do. Oh, that's amazing. Really good to hear. Yeah. Gabor did an interview with me, and it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. Um, yeah, so I expanded my studies from there to psychotherapy, and that's how I ended up here. I decided to do my master's in psychotherapy, and now I do this full time, and I love it so much. I have such a great time. And oh my gosh, being a pilot would be amazing. I'm the type of person who switches jobs often, like all the time. But this one, I'm locked in. I think I finally figured out what I wanted to do, what I want to do, and I really wanted to be a flight attendant at one point. I was like, oh man, it would be so great to just travel the world and everything. But in retrospect, I think I would have been a good airplane attendant, but I think I would have struggled with like the lack of sleep and the time changes and everything. I really need my sleep, okay? That's what I've discovered about myself. It's very important for me to get a proper night's sleep, or I just do not function properly. I do have Instagram. It is Multi-Therapy Canada. All one word. Yeah. Feel free to add me if you guys want. I also have a website, multitherapy.co. If you guys want to check that out too, that's where you can book a session with me. I'm a Canadian therapist. I do individual sessions and couple sessions. How do you improve your hypnosis suggestibility? Oh, that's a great question. Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Hypnosis is all about feeling comfortable with yourself. Also, when you practice doing um, when you practice doing hypnosis, you want to make sure that you're in a nice, comfortable place where you're not going to get disturbed. You got to use either recordings or work with somebody that you really trust. Because often it's like a trust component, right? You want to feel like you're nice and comfortable. Have I ever used my skills to randomly help people in public? Not so much, right? There's a fine line. You don't want to be wearing your psychotherapy hat all the time, you know, because if you do that, it's just things get muddled, right? So I feel like I can put on my psychotherapy hat. If somebody asks me specifically, hey, I know you're a psychotherapist, can you please give me psychotherapy advice? Then yeah, sure. I don't mind saying, okay, like this is what I would do in that situation. But it's actually not recommended to work with somebody or like do psychotherapy without their knowledge, right? Like it's all about consent. Consent is so important. Hi, Anvil. Hi, nice guy. Do you offer sessions internationally or just domestically? Yeah, I only offer to Canadians just because of the rules and regulations. Basically, I can only work with people who are in Canada, excluding Quebec, or if your country is not regulated in psychotherapy, but most countries are. So the simple answer is no, only Canadians. All my life I thought hypnosis is a myth. I thought only people could get hypnotized who actually wanted to. Yeah, yeah. It's when it comes to that, most people can get hypnotized. You can't like get forced to be hypnotized, like if somebody comes up to you and say, "Hey, I'm going to hypnotize you right now." If you didn't want to, you won't. Hi, MW Music. Oh, you have problems with anxiety around people outside of your home? Well, thank you for sharing. I know it's not easy. I went through a lot of anxiety too, especially in university. That was a really hard time for me because it was a huge adjustment, right? Like I moved away from my big social support. So I think it took me some time to kind of get comfortable and start to actively try to find a new friend group. I was still kind of grieving the loss of my old friend group, even though I'm still friends with them to this day. But what I would recommend is firstly, get a therapist. It's always really helpful to get some professional advice. This is just like a little tip, basically. I think the more support that you can get, the better, because, the more support, the better. What's there to lose, right? And what I do with some of my clients who struggle with social anxiety is we kind of create something called like a hierarchy fear ladder. So, what that would look like is you start with the smallest fear of maybe going outside or talking to people. Maybe the smallest fear is somebody looks at you weird, or reaching out to somebody and starting a conversation. That's like a pretty small fear. And then you work your way all the way up to the very top one. So maybe your biggest fear would be to go on a date, or maybe get rejected by somebody, right? So we would start small, whether it just be, I'm going to go outside and nod to somebody as I go for a walk. That might be the first step. And you're slowly building up kind of your confidence in interacting with people. You're starting to decide every single day, what's a little small step I can make in the right direction to challenge myself, to push myself forward so I can start to feel more confident, right? I hope that helps. Let me know what kind of social anxieties you have if you'd like to share, or if anybody wants to share kind of how you want to improve, self-improve, right? For example, mentally stressed and depressed people drink to get those happy hormones to get released. The same goes with meditation. Is hypnosis something similar? Yeah, very similar. Hi, Sanjeet. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Joe. How are you doing? I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you love my videos. Yes. So typically, when it comes to like addiction with drinking, is often used as a coping mechanism, right? When we look at why people, or like if people have an issue with drinking, we look at why they drink. So if you are just a social drinker, you like to go out on Saturdays and Sundays and you like to go out and party, but then you're able to function the rest of the week. You're not going overboard or binge drinking. You're just, partying, having a good time, resting. Then no issues, right? But if you start to find that you are drinking in order to cope with things, if you have a stressful day, so you come home and start to drink, to the point where it's affecting the rest of your life, right? Some people like to have 1 or 2 beers when they get home, and that's their routine. That's what they enjoy to do. Fine. But if you start to feel like it's affecting the rest of your life, the people in your life are saying, listen, we're worried about you, or you're starting to feel like it's getting out of hand, like you have to do it, like you're trying to stop but you can't. Those are all signs that you've taken this from enjoyment, something that's fun, to, okay, I might have a problem here, right? So just being honest with yourself. There's a lot of kind of free assessments online you can look up, like alcohol use assessment. And that can be pretty helpful, like as a starting point to see, okay, I'm kind of questioning myself here. Let me just check in. And it'll break down those different components, right? Whether it's social, coping, all that fun stuff. Oh, we got another question here. Your anxiety starts around when you're... Joe, okay, so you don't like birds? Because you don't like things that are flying because of your autism. What's the best way to get over birds and parrots? Okay, wow. Yeah, I can completely understand that. So, what is it for you? Do they feel kind of overstimulating because like the sound of the wings? Are you worried about them landing on you? Yeah, that's hard, right? Because birds are everywhere. And parrots, yeah, they're pretty big too, so I can understand that. You can drink as much alcohol as you want since you never used it to cope with a single thing in life. That's great. Yeah. No, I think some people have no problem drinking alcohol, that's for sure. Uh, wow, you guys are asking really great questions. Thank you so much for putting these out there. Hi, Ted. I know I'm just like them. I feel so empty that I lie about my true thoughts. I just can't be myself as I have this fear of being judged. Okay, wow. No, thank you again for sharing. If you feel like you're lying about your true thoughts and you can't be yourself because you're having a fear of being judged, that's definitely something to look into. Again, I kind of recommend you get a therapist then. I advocate basically everyone have a therapist because it's so helpful. Even I have a therapist as a therapist because I'm working with people with their issues and everything. So I want to make sure that I can be the best mentally to work with other people. Is it this? That's the other thing. I'm worried about the landing on me. Yeah, yeah, I totally get that. That would really freak me out too if a giant parrot landed on my shoulder. Um, I guess when it comes to that kind of fear, you got to think about the reality, I guess, of it happening. I can't say that a bird has ever landed on my shoulder before, right? So that's kind of like a self soothing technique, is saying, okay, the reality that a bird is going to land on me is pretty low. So now I got to look at my values. Am I going to let the very low possibility of a bird landing on me to keep me from going outside and living my life? Or am I going to self soothe and live to my true values, my highest potential, with the low possibility of the bird landing on me, right? And that's kind of the self soothing thing, is saying, I'm going to live my life authentically, even if this might happen to me. I'm going to push forward and live my life. And if it does happen, here's what I'm going to do. Maybe having like an action plan. If this bird lands on you, what are you going to do, right? You're going to shoo it away, and that's going to be the end of it. Yeah. Perhaps just kind of checking in with the reality would help. Anyways, I really do feel for you. It's hard when you have kind of a fear of something that's around all of the time. Like social anxiety, too. It's quite difficult. Oh, you have a fear of dogs? Yeah, we kind of talking about fears now, huh? Yeah, fears are a big one. A lot of people come in to work on their fears, and actually, hypnosis is a great option if you have fears. It's really helpful with people to just feel that nice, relaxed feeling, work through their fears internally. You know how we talked about that hierarchy fear ladder? You can actually go into hypnosis and walk up the ladder. So you visualize yourself in those scary situations in hypnosis and doing them confidently and safely, right? Like we talked about, okay, I'm going to visualize myself in deep, deep hypnosis where I'm in a very relaxed state. And I'm going to picture myself going on this date and really succeeding. And even if it goes wrong, it's okay because I'm my own person. I'm my confident person, my authentic self. And if it goes wrong, that doesn't make me a bad person. It just means this person is not the right one for me, right? Oh my gosh, Joe, you got bit by a parrot? That's really scary. I Now you're making me afraid of parrots. I gotta stop taking on other people's fears. That would probably hurt, huh? Can you make an anti fear hypnosis on YouTube? Yeah, that's a great idea. I think I will. Let's do it. Anti fear hypnosis. We'll do like a fear hierarchy one. How about that? Where we start with deciding what our fear ladder looks like and then working through it. That's a great video. Is there a fear of fear itself? Like a phobia? Probably. There's a fear of everything, let's be honest. I think there is an actual term for that. Okay, that's great. That's great out of one. Sorry, Adwoman. Adwoman. Um, that journaling helps you because journaling is a great way to cope with things. Absolutely. Phophobia. Yeah, the fear of fear itself is phophobia. I think that sounds about right. Hi, Philip. Yeah. Oh, an anti-nightmare hypnosis video. That would be a good one too. I gotta. Okay. I wish I had my pen around, but I'll try to remember that one too. I think it would be nice to release a few hypnosis recordings because I haven't done so in a while. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to call it. This was really fun, and I'm going to try to be semi-regular with these live streams in the morning. I think it's a lot of fun to get ready with you guys because you ask amazing questions, and I hope to catch you guys later. Take care. Bye.